The storm outside intensified, and the rain lashed against the windows with a furious rhythm. I huddled in the living room, clutching my blanket tighter, hoping for the storm to pass soon. The eerie feeling persisted, a strange unease that lingered in the air. I decided to venture upstairs to my room, seeking comfort in the familiar surroundings. As I ascended the staircase, the creaks beneath my feet sounded louder, almost as if the house itself was whispering secrets. The shadows seemed to come alive, dancing along the walls as the dim light from my phone struggled to pierce the darkness. Reaching my room, I closed the door behind me, trying to shut out the unsettling atmosphere. I turned on the bedside lamp, its warm glow providing a semblance of safety. I grabbed a book, hoping to lose myself in its pages and forget about the strange occurrences. Just as I started to immerse myself in the story, a sudden chill filled the room. The lamp flickered and the shadows in the corners deepened. My heart skipped a beat, and I felt a gaze upon me, an unseen presence watching from the darkness. The air seemed heavier, laden with an ominous energy. Ignoring the growing unease, I tried to focus on the book, but a subtle rustling sound caught my attention. I strained my ears, and the noise grew louder, a soft, deliberate pacing outside my door. Panic gripped me as I realized I wasn't alone in my supposedly empty house. Summoning every ounce of courage, I slowly opened the bedroom door. The hallway was dimly lit, and the eerie silence was broken only by the distant thunder. I cautiously stepped into the corridor, my senses on high alert. That's when I saw him again, the creepy man, standing at the end of the hallway. His figure seemed to materialize from the shadows, his unsettling grin now illuminated by the dim light. Frozen in fear, I watched as he slowly approached, each step echoing like a sinister drumbeat. I retreated into my room, slamming the door shut. Desperation seized me as I realized I needed help. I fumbled for my phone to dial the police, but the battery had drained. The realization sank in. I was truly alone, trapped in a nightmare. The man's chilling laughter reverberated through the walls, and I knew I had to escape. I opened the window, stormy wind and rain now a chaotic symphony. Clinging to the windowsill, I hesitated for a moment, contemplating the dangerous descent. With a deep breath, I climbed out into the tempest. The rain soaked me to the bone as I navigated the treacherous roof, determined to reach safety. As I jumped down and fled from the house, I dared not look back, fearing that the mysterious man might still be lurking in the shadows. As I sprinted through the rain-soaked streets, seeking refuge and help, I couldn't shake the feeling that the unsettling encounter was far from over. The memory of that creepy man, his haunting laughter, and the shadows that seemed to obey his every move lingered in my mind, casting a long and ominous shadow over my once familiar home. It was a chilly autumn evening, and my wife had taken the kids to visit their grandparents, leaving me home alone for the night. The house, usually filled with the laughter of my children, now echoed with an unsettling silence. As darkness draped itself over the neighborhood, I settled into the living room, seeking solace in the warm glow of the fireplace. The ticking clock on the wall seemed to amplify the emptiness. I immersed myself in a book, attempting to lose myself in its fictional world and dispel the eerie stillness that enveloped the house. But as the night wore on, an unsettling feeling nestled itself in the pit of my stomach. Around midnight, a soft knock echoed through the house. I dismissed it as a figment of my imagination, the product of an overactive mind in the silence of an empty home. Yet the knock persisted, growing more distinct and purposeful. My curiosity mingled with a sense of trepidation as I approached the door. Cautiously, I opened it to find a woman standing on the porch. She wore a tattered, long-flowing dress, and her unkempt hair framed a face that seemed almost ethereal in the moonlight. A sense of unease washed over me as I hesitated, wondering how this stranger had appeared at my doorstep in the dead of night. The woman spoke softly, her voice carrying a haunting melody. She claimed to be lost and in need of assistance, her eyes casting a pleading gaze upon me. Sympathy mingled with suspicion as I contemplated whether to invite her in or turn her away into the cold night. Reluctantly, I offered her a seat in the living room,
a cautious distance between us. The flickering flames of the fireplace cast eerie shadows on the walls, adding to the surreal nature of the encounter. The woman's eyes seemed to hold a depth of sorrow, and her demeanor radiated an air of mystery. As we conversed, her words became cryptic, revealing fragments of a tale that transcended the boundaries of the ordinary. She spoke of a long-lost love, a tragic event that bound her spirit to the earthly realm. The atmosphere thickened with an otherworldly presence, and I found myself drawn into the unsettling narrative she wove. As the night unfurled, the woman's demeanor shifted. Her once pleading eyes turned into an intense, unsettling stare. The air in the room seemed to grow heavier, as if a shadow had settled upon us. The room echoed with her whispers, now veering into a language that sounded ancient and unfamiliar. Fear gripped my senses as I realized that the woman before me was not as she seemed. She was no lost traveler, but a specter from a realm beyond, and the melancholic tale she shared was a haunting prelude to something more sinister. With a sudden chill, the temperature in the room plummeted. I felt a presence, unseen but undeniably malevolent. Panic surged through me as I understood the gravity of the situation. The woman was a manifestation of a darker force, one that sought to bind me to a fate entwined with her tragic past. Summoning every ounce of courage, I spoke words of dismissal and recited a prayer passed down through generations. The room convulsed with an otherworldly energy, and the woman's visage contorted with a mixture of anguish and fury. With an unearthly wail, she vanished into the night, leaving behind a lingering sense of dread. The following morning, as the first rays of sunlight bathed the house, I couldn't shake the memory of the eerie encounter. The silence that once seemed comforting now felt oppressive, and I questioned whether the woman was a mere figment of my imagination or a harbinger of something far more malevolent. As I stood on the porch, scanning the quiet neighborhood, I couldn't shake the feeling that the events of that night had opened a door to the supernatural, revealing a realm beyond the mundane. The echoes of the mysterious woman's visit lingered, a haunting reminder that some encounters, once experienced, leave an indelible mark on the soul. It was a night like no other, one of those stormy evenings that send shivers down your spine. My younger brother Jake and I found ourselves home alone, the steady drumming of raindrops against the windows providing a haunting soundtrack to our solitude. Our parents had left for a dinner party, leaving us with instructions that echoed in our minds. Don't open the door for anyone. The house seemed to groan in harmony with the gusts of wind, creating an eerie symphony that filled the air. Armed with flashlights, we huddled together on the couch, the occasional flickering of the lights casting shadows that danced across the walls. As the clock ticked towards midnight, a strange sound emanated from the depths of the house, whispers, soft and almost imperceptible, as if carried by unseen spirits. Curiosity mingled with trepidation as Jake and I exchanged glances. The basement door, usually ignored, now stood before us like a portal to the unknown. A decision silently made, we ventured into the dimly lit corridor, the creaky stairs protesting under our weight. As we descended, the whispers grew more distinct, forming into chilling words that seemed to beckon us further into the abyss. The air in the basement felt colder than usual, and the dim glow of our flashlights revealed forgotten relics and dusty memories that lined the shelves. We pressed on, drawn by an unseen force, until the basement plunged into total darkness and the whispers reached a crescendo. Suddenly, before us materialized a figure, a ghostly silhouette with features obscured by shadows. Our flashlights flickered, and the air thickened with an otherworldly energy. The figure spoke, not with words, but with whispers that echoed through the basement, revealing a tale of tragedy and unfinished business. It was the story of two brothers who had once inhabited the very house we called home. Their lives had been cut short by a cruel twist of fate, and their restless spirits lingered, desperate for resolution. The whispers, now more like a spectral narrative, detailed the injustice that had befallen them, and we realized that we were entwined in a tale that spanned decades. The ghostly figure implored us to help them find peace, to uncover the truth that had long been buried. As we listened in horrified fascination, the basement seemed to come alive with a spectral energy. The air crackled with tension as the story reached its climax, and then, with a final chilling whisper, the figure vanished. We stood in stunned silence, the basement now eerily quiet. The whispers had ceased, and the air felt lighter, as if a weight had been lifted. We ascended the stairs slowly, still processing the unearthly encounter we had just experienced. The storm outside had subsided, and the moon cast a gentle glow through the windows. In the days that followed, Jake and I delved into the history of our home. We uncovered forgotten newspaper clippings and testimonies that corroborated the spectral tale we had heard. The tragic fate of the brothers who had once lived there was now documented, and it seemed that by confronting the spirits and acknowledging their story, we had somehow offered them the peace they had sought for so long. Our YouTube channel, primarily a source of lighthearted content, now featured the eerie encounter, complete with the whispers and the ghostly figure captured on camera. The comments poured in, with viewers expressing a mix of fascination and unease. The experience had left an indelible mark on us, a reminder that sometimes, in the darkest corners of our homes, the whispers of the past yearn to be heard, and by listening, we can bring solace to the restless spirits that linger in the shadows.